So welcome to Penguin Tracks, episode 3. This is called Viaduct. Roll out, teleporter, and get ammo from the resupply cabinet, and go straight out. Guess the quickest way to go to mid is just go and not bother building any teleporters at all, but it only delays you by like a second or two, and if you're getting whipped as well, that's not very much. Pretty much go to mid through every entrance that you'd like. If you go up cliff, I'd recommend putting a mini sentry right here. Cover the entire area behind the point and a significant portion of the point itself. You want to go through this plate left side. A mini sentry somewhere in this little area here. I'm gonna put it just below the arc of the hill so that the soldiers have a hard time shooting it while it can still shoot over it and get at the point. Same is true if you go through this way. Somewhere over here. Going the far right side, at least if you're on red, is probably the worst one to go because you don't get those nice entry spots here. You get up here where you have to go through the tunnel, or go through here. And your role on the mid fight is pretty much to get the mini sentries up so they start shutting down the other enemy team. You don't want the scout to be able to go walk all over your combo or anything because this is a very good scout map if you don't have the engineer keeping him in check. Mini sentry will also help delay an early bomb on your medic or your demo man. For the mid fight itself, you're pretty much just going to want to be cleaning up damage that your heavy gear classes are doing. Just pretend you're a scout. If somebody calls that somebody's taking a lot of damage and you can go shoot at them, go steal that kill. Need your dispenser spots when you have the point. Here. And here. Most teams will just put it right behind the point because people can use it over here and use it over here. You don't get trapped into this area, which is very vulnerable to the spy dropping down off the cliff. So teleporter exits. Here is a good one. This is in the house. Put one out here. Over here. Or here. Neither of these ones are particularly good just because it's easier for the other team to shoot at people coming out of these. But if they're getting knocked down a lot, you might want to put it there just to make the spy guess more where they are. And here, if you're getting really desperate. Over here. Or here. When you have the point, if your team is not doing a forward hold, you're generally just going to want to have a mini sentry somewhere on the point where it's covering both it and your team. There's a lot of different places you can go with. Any of these where you build it on the mid fight is good, especially if you're expecting the other team to push. Back here is fairly sheltered. You can build up here as well. Here will cover the point while shooting at the people who get on the point as a surprise. For here is also fairly sheltered. Behind this rock is going to be really annoying, but it does not actually cover much of the point. If you can get over here, your team is holding for the forward. This is a fantastic spot. Forces anybody who comes to main to have to turn around to shoot at it. You can get on the enemy team's cliff. Any sentry here will keep their sniper from getting up here. over here if you really want to be annoying and have a lot of ground. Back here is the same idea as this spot behind the point, except it doesn't actually cover the point, but it will make people who are pushing have to turn around to deal with it. You can jump up there and put a mini sentry up there. You can build any building on top of these things by jumping like that. Or by making that incredibly difficult to make jump that I knew I would. There. This is also a good teleporter spot if your team is holding the point for long amounts of time, because it's a really close spot while being sheltered as long as your team has control of this area, and especially the enemy team cliff. As soon as you lose control of the point, or the people who are called on the cliff, it's probably better to just destroy the teleporter exit, because you don't want people coming out of there getting sniped, especially if it's an important class like your heavy or demo or medic. There's also this spot for teleporters. You cannot get to this here on the blue side by jumping the same way. But you can get up there by jumping on top of a dispenser. Destroy the dispenser immediately or move it somewhere else once it's up there and upgraded to your liking. Controlling the ammo pack at mid is pretty important. If the spy is using the invisible bot, you'll have to get it to get across the point. So if you see that disappear, you know the spy is getting behind you. It's also good to keep it away from the other engineer if he's on this point too, because that's one mini sentry you can build that he can't. The Wrangler isn't actually that useful on this map. It's mainly just if you get over here somewhere and want to shoot at the other team's cliff, or if you're on cliff and you want to shoot over the point, it can control a bit of the area more than the mini sentry can, but most of the time you're going to be more useful by dropping the mini sentry and just running around with the shotgun. This is, like I said, a very fun map for engineer just because there's so many good mini sentry spots and they're very, very annoying to take out. If you see the soldier go direct hit on this map, it's not like in pubs where they do that because of the pyro, it's because you are doing your job and being a real nuisance, that they have to take away the soldier's ability to bomb your medic just to deal with you. Where you play on this map, it kind of depends. You can rotate the sides pretty easily. It's a very small map, so that's not much of an issue. I usually just run around wherever I see I can get in for free without anybody noticing me or do some damage. Because people tend to not focus engineers in fights as hard as they would, heavier classes that seem to pose more of a threat, you can oftentimes just walk in on people and get picks on people who are trying to run away or the heavy or something. Don't be afraid if people are calling that stuff slip behind the point to be the person to go around and try to shoot at them. You give your team more space, and you can probably get a couple kills from that. This tunnel is kind of a dangerous spot for you, because the soldier is up here at all, and quite usually the soldier will be holding on this side of the map. If you walk in here, you're pretty much going to get two-shot. But a sentry over here will cover off this health pack from the enemy team. We'll shoot at things over there, and we'll shoot at things trying to get on the point. If you're defending and holding back behind the house, you want to pretty much pick one side and keep it clear. See, they're going to be on the cliff. Up here. Any sentry here will deny bombers, especially if your sniper's up here. It will help keep him safe so he can get some picks. It will basically protect him if he's anywhere on cliff or China. And over here, we'll get people trying to peek down here for some damage and keep this health and ammo in your control, and keep classes that can cause you trouble, like, say, a sniper coming over here to shoot at your combo. Whether or not you're holding with your combo in flight kind of depends on who is up and which of the enemy team's classes are being a problem. If the scout and soldier are being real trouble, you might want to go stay with your combo to keep the medic from getting bombed or the scout from getting in constantly, because just a mini sentry next to them will take care of that. You can usually just drop a sentry next to wherever your combo is holding, and then go run off to watch something else. And if it gets destroyed, just go put it back up. One important thing to bear in mind playing engineer on any map is, especially a map where mini sentries are known to be a big problem, is that the spy will often go in and sap your stuff while you're not around. But if you remember where your buildings are, you can instantly tell your team where the spy is. And if you're used to the way the spy has been moving around the map, you can tell them where he's going to be from. And that can help out your combo a lot. Like, your pyro can just turn around and kill him as he's coming for them. During downtime is when you want to upgrade your dispensers and teleporters, of course. This will not generally happen on this map just because it's Koth, so it's a constant sort of back and forth. People are aware that they have to push, so they will. Just to keep time from running down. Dispensers behind the point are going to be going down a lot unless your team is completely shutting the other team out. Same thing with the teleporter if the enemy spy is doing his job and killing a lot of things. Constantly sapping your teleporters. Some spies won't, but it can be a real nuisance.
Place yourself on the point, mister.
I think that's it for the major spots. One thing is to always have a mini sentry up, because the other team is going to have to deal with them. Pick the most annoying spots you can find and shoot that. Now for loadouts, you're going to want to be on the gunslinger pretty much the whole time. You're not really going to get a chance to build up a level 3 sentry, and if you do, it's either because you're building it outside of spawn and your team is losing or winning without you, or, you know, you're putting it in a useful place, but your team is winning anyway because they're spawn camping the other team. Because it's a Koth map, you kind of get, and you're not running level 3 sentries, you kind of get more freedom with which gun you use. I've seen the Frontier Justice used on this map, and that's pretty cool because where mini sentries are is you're going to be getting, at the very least, a lot of assists with them, and each of those is worth 1 crit. So you can just do that, destroy your sentry gun when you find a good time to get a pick on somebody, and go get aggressive on the enemy team. Same thing with the Widowmaker, kind of. It's more of a sustained aggression sort of weapon, and you need better aim to be successful with it because you have to constantly be getting metal otherwise. But if you can do that, it'll pay off. Secondaries, we'll quite frequently use the Wrangler anyway, just because it offers slightly more, I feel, than the pistol does. I rarely am ever in a situation where I needed the extra ammo, and I tend to avoid fighting at longer ranges if possible. Wrangler is technically better at long range than the pistol because it does not suffer from fall off and it has no spread like the pistol does. But pistol is going to be very useful too if you're going to be constantly aggressive, because you'll have the ammo to finish off kills. And it especially works well with, say, the Frontier Justice and the Widowmaker if you're planning on using those, because it makes you a little less reliant on the ammo issues both of those guns can have. The short circuit can be used to shut down Kritzkriegs. If you've seen Dave Plus's videos on YouTube, he is one point of view of his Viaduct one where I think he does just that, uses the short circuit on a map. But it's kind of a very high risk-reward thing, because if you don't manage to destroy the stickies, you're basically dead. My thoughts is that usually you should just run away from the crits because it's pointless risking yourself to get killed as well. If your team is on top of things, they should be able to, kite it and run away. Because a lot of teams will run crits full time on this map, you're going to have to deal with it. If you're good with it, or you think you can be good with it, it can be worth using. The only concern is that there isn't too much metal on this map. There's the 5 medium packs, which you will generally have access to 2 or 3 at a time, and the 2 little ones. You can use your dispenser, of course, but like I said, those will tend to die if the other team is pressuring you a lot. You have any info, Wolf?
No, you've pretty much covered all the key points on this
Especially as
map.
an engineer that ever uses the Wrangler.
Uh, just general sentry placement. You want to make sure you cover as much as you can with a single sentry. Especially when you're placing them offensively, you want them to have to be taken out instead of any damage going under your combo. So place it in spots that may seem open, but that will be focused down fast enough to deflect the attention away from your combo so they can start doing more work.